this video, I kind of wanted to talk through some of the knitting plans that I have or patterns that I've seen that really inspire me for 2026. So the first project that caught my eye that actually made me want to make a knitting list, because I've never done that before. I usually just start and then throughout the year I will have like spurts of doing loads of knitting and then I won't pick anything up for like 2 months. But this year I'd like to stay a little bit more consistent, and so I thought I'd make a list of things that I'd like to do, and then if I see anything cool along the way I can just start that up. I also thought I was someone that went through each project one at a time, and I've realised that's not the case. I was looking through like a list of whips that I have, and I have a lot on the go at once, so I'm hoping that if I have a list it will like help me stick to a couple things or make sure that I get some of those done like to completion rather than just having loads and loads on the go. So one of them is the Lace Pullover by Ozetta. I want to try and move away from just jumpers. I'm obviously going to make a few, but I don't know, I want to try and make a few more like accessories and like different styles of stuff, and I've done so much knitting in 2025 that I feel a bit more confident to try out different constructions of different style garments and stuff. So this one jumped out to me because although a lot of people have said they find themselves going stir crazy when they're just going in the round because there's not much else going on, it's just stockinette. I really love the saddle shoulder construction. In terms of like what yarn I'd use, I probably want to go for some kind of lighter colour. Something with me is I knit with a lot of like earthy tones or browns, honestly mainly because when you've put so many hours into something I have a fear of wearing it and marking it, whereas like if it's like a dark brown you probably won't know if I do or not. I've always been put off lighter colours, and also just my wardrobe in general is quite dark, but this year I kind of want to put more colour into my wardrobe, and so I think a really good way of doing that would be with my hand knit projects. I also want to pick a lighter colour for the Lace Pullover because I feel like the lighter the colour is, the higher contrast the construction has, and those like saddle shoulders like really stand out, which is what I like about it. So I don't want it to get like hidden in a darker knit. Some people using Heavy Merino by Knitting for Olive, which is a brand I've never used, but I know it's super popular, which is another thing that I want to do this year, is like maybe branch out into using some nicer quality yarns, because especially when I've started out, like I've used a lot of acrylic stuff, which is fine, but I think the durability long term of the pieces you're making just like isn't there. Recently just finished a lace loops jumper that I've used with a slightly higher quality yarn because I got it in a sale. It's just so much nicer, it feels much stronger even though it's actually quite a delicate yarn type that I've used. Yeah, that's kind of inspired me to use slightly nicer quality yarn. If you have any suggestions on like yarns that you like, the mid-range sort of price, then let me know because I definitely want to try out a bunch of different yarns. The next sweater that I really like is the Harriet sweater by Lynette. I think in some of her sample pictures the colorway is like a brown and cream. I know I said I wanted to move away from earth tones, but that does just look perfect, so I'll probably knit it in a brown and cream. This next one is really cool. It's the Devon top by November Studios. I am intimidated by this because the pattern is a self-drafting guide, which is really cool and actually something I really appreciate because it's going to help me in the future to sort of create my own pieces and create patterns for them. And I also like that it gives you the flexibility to use whatever yarn that you want to sort of imitate the sample picture. I just think it looks really delicate and light, and it would be a really nice spring summer top. I'm going to Norway at the end of January, so I'd really like to pick up some yarn whilst I'm there for this project. The other exciting bit about this project is the little buttons on the side. I would like to make my own. She does make some ceramic buttons herself and she sells them on her Etsy. They're really cool, but I would really like to try and make my own, and I'd make them like random different shapes to go down the side and then paint them. That's my plan anyway. I think it looks so cool, so I'm really excited to try that one. It's probably the one I'm most excited to try. And the next one, I think it's reversible. It's this beanie by Rat and Seawitch. I think I'd knit it in like a darker blue with like a softly contrasting lighter blue for the swell. I just think that would look so cool. I've seen some people do like brushed beanies as well. I wonder if I could do that with this one, or maybe it would be better to keep the detail. But these I think I'm going to start really soon. They're these contrast Kiel socks using the Mallard yarn by West Yorkshire Spinners, I think. They actually have this yarn like round the corner from me, so it's really easy for me to get hold of, and I just think it looks really cool. I actually started knitting my first pair of socks over Christmas because my mum went to Norway in November and she brought me back this little knitting kit that had the yarn and the pattern within it. So I actually did my first pair of socks over Christmas. I say pair, I've done one, I need to finish the other one soon. I was really worried about it, but it turned out fine. It was really quick to knit up, so yeah, I'm really excited to knit with this yarn. I also love like a self-striping yarn because it keeps it like interesting while you're going in the round. And I think I have to do a cardigan because I was meant to knit a cardigan for my partner last year, and I found this really old vintage cardigan pattern that was terrible to follow. Like, I couldn't understand. I don't know when it was written, a really long time ago. I think I tried. I could probably try harder, but I think I'm just gonna abandon that pattern, frog what I've done, and use the yarn on maybe a more modern pattern. The Lakes cardigan by Ozetta really stands out to me. He likes much like shorter, almost cropped style cardigans, not super long, which we found like when we're out in the men's section, like a lot of the cardigans are really long. So I think maybe making that one would be cool, would be fun, and I might get to do some like cool button things with that as well. The last sweater that I'd like to do, I wasn't going to include it on this list, and then I've seen it really recently and I love it. I don't know how you say it. It's either the Frej sweater, jumper basically. I really like it in the light blue and white colorway. I think it's such a nice like springy summer knit. I was pretty convinced that was the one I was going to go for, and then I saw it in this colorway with like the contrasting shoulder stitches, and I was like, wow, that's so nice. So I think what I might do is do the blue one first, because I said to myself I was going to knit with more colors this year. If I have time, do the other one because I just think it's so cute. The other random thing I think would be so cool to work on this year is a knitted colourwork pouch, which I'll insert some pictures of what they look like. I was watching Kate Beeze's video the other day and she had one on there, and I'd never seen anything like that before. Never even thought of something like that before, but it looks so cool, and I think they're really nice gift ideas, and also things I could use any like leftover scrap yarn to work on. I don't know if this is overly ambitious, but maybe think of writing a little colour chart that I could put into a pattern of one of those, and then just give them as like little gifts to my family or something like that. I think that would be really cool. So that's all of my knitting plans, knitting inspiration ideas that I think are really cool. But let me know what you've got planned, what's inspiring you for 2026, because I always love finding more patterns and getting sidetracked from the original list that I had. Other than that, I would really want to spin my own yarn. I'm definitely going to do that. That's like my top resolution for 2026. I'm really excited to see all the new like trending patterns that are going to happen this year and what everyone's going to be working on. And yeah, I'm excited to get started. So yeah, bye.